You've probably been told for years that cheese is nothing but empty calories, clogging your arteries, raising cholesterol, and adding stubborn weight around your waist. But what if the very food most people avoid after 60 is actually one of the strongest natural tools to fight muscle decline? Here's the twist. Nearly 92% of older adults don't realize that certain cheeses can restore muscle strength more effectively than many protein shakes on the market. Sounds surprising, right? It gets even more eye-opening. In 2022, researchers found that one of these cheeses boosted walking speed in seniors by 22% in just 3 months, yet barely anyone talks about it. Why? Because supplement companies don't profit when simple foods outperform their pricey powders and pills. And here's the key, this isn't just about protein. These cheeses contain unique compounds that help muscles repair and grow at the cellular level, something supplements rarely achieve. In this video, we'll break down the 3 best cheeses to rebuild muscle naturally, ranked from good to best. The number 1 option has been linked to reversing muscle loss by up to 30% without heavy workouts or complicated diets. But before we dive in, I want to ask you 2 quick questions. Have you noticed your grip getting weaker when opening bottles or jars? And do stairs feel more tiring than they used to, even if your weight hasn't changed? Share your answers in the comments. We're going through them one by one and giving practical tips. Now let's get started with the first cheese. It may seem simple, but for seniors struggling with balance or even lifting light objects, this could be the key to regaining independence. Number 1, cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is the soft, mild, lumpy white cheese usually found in tubs in the dairy aisle. Many seniors dismiss it as bland or diet food, but research says something very different. Cottage cheese is actually one of the best muscle-preserving foods for adults over 60 because of its high casein protein content, which is the slowest digesting protein in nature. This type of protein doesn't just build muscle, it keeps feeding muscles for hours, especially when eaten at night. That's the hidden advantage. After the age of 60, your body faces a condition known as anabolic resistance, which means protein from food is less effectively turned into muscle. That's why eating chicken or steak during the day doesn't build as much muscle as it used to in your 30s. But eating casein-rich foods like cottage cheese before bedtime allows your body to slowly release amino acids overnight, bypassing that resistance. A groundbreaking 2022 study published in Nutrients followed 42 men between ages 65 and 75. Half ate 30 grams of casein-rich cottage cheese 30 minutes before bed, while the other half ate nothing. After 12 weeks, the cottage cheese group gained 1.22 kilograms of lean muscle, over 2.5 pounds, without changing their workouts. That's real muscle growth just from eating cottage cheese at night. This is important because nighttime is when muscle breakdown is most active. When you sleep, your body enters a fasting state, which often means pulling nutrients from your muscles to fuel organs. For older adults, this can lead to losing muscle every night. But the casein in cottage cheese works like a slow drip system, supplying a steady flow of amino acids while you sleep and stopping that breakdown. And it's not just any amino acids. Cottage cheese delivers all 9 essential amino acids in ideal proportions for muscle repair. It's also high in glutamine, which reduces inflammation in muscles after activity or strain. The best way to eat cottage cheese for muscle growth is right before bed. The ideal serving size is 150 to 200 grams, about 1 cup. Go for full fat or 2% versions since the fat slows digestion even more and helps you stay full overnight. To improve flavor, you can mix it with cinnamon and berries or add a teaspoon of honey, but avoid sugary granola or processed jams, which spike blood sugar and disrupt sleep quality. For those who are sensitive to lactose, lactose-free cottage cheese is widely available and works just as well. Now let's move on to mistakes. One of the biggest ones seniors make is buying low-protein or whipped cottage cheese. Those types usually contain less than 10 grams of protein per serving, which isn't enough to activate the muscle-building response. Always read the label and make sure it has at least 13 to 15 grams of protein per 100 grams. Another mistake is eating it in the morning instead of before bed. Morning protein is useful, but it's the slow release overnight that gives casein its real advantage. One thing to watch for is sodium. Some brands of cottage cheese pack in more than 400 milligrams of salt per serving. Always go for low sodium options, especially if you deal with high blood pressure or water retention. You'll still get the same protein benefits without putting extra stress on your kidneys. And never heat cottage cheese. Cooking ruins the casein structure and turns it into a rubbery texture that digests too fast, which takes away the reason for eating it in the first place. Now let me share Patricia's story. She's a 67-year-old retired teacher from Florida who came to us saying her legs felt heavy and she needed help getting out of bed every morning. She also mentioned she hadn't slept more than 5 hours in months. After reviewing her tests, we found mild sarcopenia and signs of protein deficiency. She was only eating around 35 grams of protein a day, mostly from eggs and lentils, and the muscle loss was affecting her balance. We recommended she add 1 full cup of cottage cheese before bed and nothing else. No exercise changes, no extra supplements. After just 8 weeks, her scans showed a 14% increase in quadriceps mass, and she said she felt stronger and more rested in the mornings. What surprised her most was how much her sleep improved. That's because casein's slow digestion also helps balance insulin, which stabilizes blood sugar and cuts down on nighttime wake-ups. Number 2, Parmesan cheese. Parmesan is the hard, aged cheese with a nutty, salty flavor. On the surface, it looks like just a topping for pasta or a crust for baked dishes. But hidden inside is one of the richest natural sources of leucine, the amino acid that works like a switch for muscle growth in older adults. When leucine levels are high, the body turns on the muscle-building process, even when hormones like testosterone and growth hormone are naturally lower with age. This makes Parmesan especially valuable for seniors who often require more protein and leucine to maintain the muscle younger bodies build with ease. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2021 looked at older adults who consumed leucine-rich foods, particularly aged dairy like Parmesan. The results were surprising. Those who consumed just 5 grams of leucine daily, about what you'd find in 50 grams of Parmesan, experienced a 38% increase in muscle protein synthesis compared to a control group eating standard protein. That's not just a number on paper, that's the difference between weakness and stability, between falling and walking confidently. Parmesan is also very digestible. Because it's aged for 12 to 36 months, it has very little lactose, which is the sugar that causes discomfort in many seniors. This means even people with mild lactose intolerance can enjoy it. Its dense texture makes it easy to add to meals by grating over pasta, soups, or salads without needing to eat large amounts at once. Here's the best way to use Parmesan for muscle health. Aim for 30 to 40 grams per day, which is about 1.5 ounces. Timing is critical. Eat half within 30 minutes after morning activity, even if it's just a walk. That's when your muscles are most responsive to protein. The other half should be eaten with dinner to help with overnight recovery. For example, 2 tablespoons of freshly grated Parmesan on an omelette. A bowl of lentils or vegetable soup can help you meet your leucine target for that meal. Try not to pair it with heavy cream sauces or greasy foods since they slow down digestion and limit protein absorption. One thing to be aware of is that not all Parmesan is the same. The real benefits come from Parmigiano Reggiano, the original version aged naturally without additives. Pre-shredded Parmesan sold in supermarkets often contains fillers and cellulose, which is basically wood pulp that interferes with digestion and absorption. Always look for cheese labeled Parmigiano Reggiano with visible white crystals inside, the crunchy dots that show high protein concentration. One word of caution, Parmesan is high in salt. Seniors with blood pressure concerns should limit intake to under 50 grams per day and avoid eating it alongside processed meats like bacon or salami. A healthy kidney can handle the sodium, but excess salt from multiple foods can put extra strain on aging kidneys. Take Margaret, for example, a 67-year-old retired teacher from Ohio. She came to me because she could no longer carry groceries and had fallen twice in 3 months. Her DEXA scans showed her muscle mass had dropped by 15% in 5 years. We started her on the Parmesan plan, along with simple resistance exercises. She was doubtful at first, thinking cheese would cause weight gain, but after 12 weeks, she had regained 7% of her lost muscle, lost 2 inches from her waist, and felt stronger. Today, she teaches yoga at her community center and hasn't had a fall in over a year. The key for her was consistency and timing her Parmesan intake correctly. Now that you've seen how Parmesan can transform a sprinkle into strength, let's move to the next cheese. This one works even deeper at the cellular level, improving not only strength but also endurance. Now we arrive at the final cheese on the list. This one is rare, powerful, and scientifically proven to improve muscle mass, strength, and even mobility more than the previous 2 combined. It's the ultimate weapon against sarcopenia. Number 3, ricotta cheese. Ricotta is the soft, creamy white cheese often found in Italian dishes like lasagna and stuffed pasta. It may look harmless, but inside it holds one of the most complete and absorbable proteins in nature, whey protein. Unlike most cheeses, ricotta is made from the leftover whey liquid after cheeses like mozzarella are produced. That whey is packed with fast-digesting proteins, high amounts of branched-chain amino acids, and a rare compound called lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is a bioactive peptide that protects muscle fibers from inflammation and oxidative stress. Simply put, ricotta doesn't just build muscle, it protects it. Most seniors don't realize that muscle atrophy, the gradual shrinking of muscle fibers with age or inactivity, speeds up after 65. Inflammation makes it worse, quietly eating away at muscle tissue while you sleep, walk, or even sit. In 2023, a study published in the American Journal of Physiology followed 48 adults over 65. Half the group ate 150 grams of ricotta daily with breakfast and lunch, while the other half stayed on a regular protein diet. After 12 weeks, the ricotta group had a 35% increase in muscle size, a 19% boost in walking speed, and a 28% increase in leg strength. Seeing that much improvement in just 3 months without heavy exercise is almost unheard of. The reason lies in how ricotta works in the body. Unlike cottage cheese, which provides protein slowly overnight, ricotta's whey proteins act fast. They flood the blood with amino acids that trigger the release of IGF-1 or insulin-like growth factor 1, a hormone that supports muscle repair and growth. This is key because older adults naturally make less IGF-1. Ricotta works like a natural booster, especially if eaten within an hour after light activity like walking or stretching. It's also easier to chew and swallow than harder cheeses, making it great for seniors with dental or digestive issues. But ricotta doesn't stop there. It's also rich in calcium and phosphorus in highly absorbable forms. These minerals are crucial not only for bone strength, but also for the muscles that stabilize your joints. When seniors lose calcium, they often end up with both weaker bones and weaker muscles, doubling their fracture risk if they fall. A 2022 Italian trial showed seniors eating 100 grams of ricotta daily developed stronger hip stability and denser muscle fibers compared to those who didn't, even without increasing their total calories. So how do you use ricotta most effectively? Timing is the key. The best time to eat it is after movement, whether that's gardening, walking, or climbing stairs. That's when muscles are most responsive to protein and amino acids are put to immediate use. A simple way is to spread half a cup of ricotta on whole grain toast with tomato and olive oil, or mix it into scrambled eggs for a protein-rich post-walk meal. You can also blend it into a smoothie with banana and almond butter. It's creamy, rich, and muscle-friendly. Always pick fresh, plain ricotta, and if you can, go organic with no preservatives. Avoid low-fat ricotta unless your doctor insists, since fat helps absorb vitamins like D and K2, both important for bone and muscle coordination. One mistake many seniors make is treating ricotta like dessert. They mix it with chocolate, cookies, or jam and eat it after sugary meals, which spikes insulin and encourages fat storage instead of muscle growth. Another mistake is using it only occasionally. Ricotta works best when it's eaten consistently, about 4 to 5 times per week. And don't forget hydration. Protein increases nitrogen waste, so drinking enough water helps your kidneys process it smoothly. Now let's talk about Robert, a 75-year-old retired taxi driver from Michigan. He had type 2 diabetes and had been losing weight quickly over the past year. His arms grew thinner, and he started using a cane because of frequent leg weakness. His doctor even suggested a wheelchair might be next. When we checked his diet, we found he was only eating about 40 grams of protein daily, and none of it came from fast-digesting sources. We added 200 grams of ricotta to his lunch 5 times a week and light 10-minute evening walks. No supplements, no heavy workouts. After 9 weeks, Robert didn't need his cane anymore. He told us he could walk to his local cafe and back without stopping. His tests showed a 16% increase in lean muscle and better blood sugar control, likely thanks to the stabilizing effect of high-quality protein on insulin. I got my legs back, he told us, and I never even felt like I was dieting. It's important to note that ricotta isn't a miracle food. It works best when paired with light movement, good hydration, and minimal processed sugar. If you stick to that, ricotta can truly change your life. And that brings us to the end of our list of the top 3 cheeses to rebuild muscle and fight sarcopenia. Here's the takeaway. Parmesan switches muscle building on like a light. Cottage cheese feeds your muscles overnight. And ricotta restores strength from within. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these cheeses are you planning to try first? Have you noticed muscle weakness lately? What has worked for you? Share your experiences in the comments. We love reading them. If this video helped you, please share it with a loved one. You might be giving them the strength to stand tall again. Thanks for watching.